will need an assist from Korea, but I feel like the kill shot has really been lined up for the LMS, and what better team to give the ball to than the Flash Wolves?
And all that's left is to take the shot, right, Frosk, and as we head into Champion Select, we'll see who's able to make it in this one. Feel like we are in a battle of the archers here as you have the slow teams, Flash Wolves and Team WE going head-to-head. We've got the bans coming through, Tam Kench, LeBlanc, followed by Galio and Caitlyn from Team WE.
And that's the big concern for me looking across on the Flash Wolves as an LPL representative, is that what iteration of Team WE are we going to get? Are we going to get the Warriors, the Brutes, the guys who come flying out in the early game, making plays with the Lucian mid, making plays with Condi the jungle? Or are we going to get those patient archers where they sit back, they play the double scaling compositions, and they try to line up the shot? Because against the Flash Wolves, I don't think you give them any space or any time.
Yeah, because once they like lining up themselves, they will be able to take that one to you. Final bans were Kassadin and Zac coming out there, so classic bans coming in at the end. However, first pick of the Elise over to Karsa.
Yeah, and already the Flash Wolves setting the tempo and the pace there with a very aggressive, very fast-paced jungler. And in the hands of Karsa, that's just a definite threat.
100%. And Condi and Karsa, two massive representatives for their team. Of course, they were in the teaser coming in as well, so excited to see what they'll be bringing here in this match as they face each other down. Corki was the first pick for Team WE. We are now waiting on the next one from WE, and it will be Gragas over for Condi. Could be top lane as well as a flex.
We have seen the top lane Gragas fall out of 7-12 just because of the changes to the triple Doran's build, so more likely than not, it will go into Condi's hands. We'll keep our eye on it. I am very excited to see Shie get his hands on Corki. He is one of the original Corki mid players from the LPL, and personally, I think Corki is must pick, must ban. The amount of power spikes this guy gets, the amount of crit damage he's outputting, I just think he's absurd.
On the opposite side, you still have a massive priority pick of the Kalista coming in for Betty. Alongside him will be Sword Art with the Thresh pick coming through, so not a bad bottom lane by any means. The Shadow Hours bottom lane coming in here.
And it's actually a great pickup for Betty in particular. You know, frankly, as you go down these lineups, it's Maple Karsa versus Condi Shie. Everything looks even there, but when you start to widen the scope, when you look at the likes of the Bettys versus Mystic, that's when it slightly tilts for Team WE for me. But Betty in particular and Kalista, I think he's underrated. I don't think enough people are paying attention to how far he can go off on that champion in particular.
The other half of that, because Kalista's been often paired with Rakan, who gets picked up for Zero in the bottom lane of Zero. This is the first time I've seen him in a good couple of weeks. Of course, Ben was the starter, and it will be Zero coming in for this remainder of the tournament here, while they will look to ban Renekton away from MMD as well.
Yeah, so starting to shrink that top lane champion pool. If the Gragas goes up there, make sure that he does get a good matchup. But again, I have a suspicion it's Condi's champion.
You have to feel that is the case. And as it goes back over to the Flash Wolves now for their first ban of the second phase, and they will aim it right at the AD carry port towards Mystic Varus ban.
So Mystic, a bit notorious for, I guess, a smaller AD carry champion pool. He still has viable options like the Twitch, like the Ashe. I suspect that the Ashe will be the other pinching point for Flash Wolves here, but we'll see if maybe they throw something else at the top lane.
We'll have to see it. Back over to WE, and it will be a Rumble ban, as you said. Top lane ban towards MMD. Back over to Flash Wolves for the final ban of our Champion Select.
And again, like I said on the analyst desk just a few moments ago, I feel like when you ban the Rumble, you are trying to make room for a Kog'Maw in terms of the LPL meta. Kog'Maw likes to sit in that back, he likes to output and maximize his damage, and it's really hard for him to do that if you have an equalizer that can reach back there without any threat of trying to put yourself in a risky overreach situation.
As you were just saying, for us, smaller champion pool for Mystic, so Flash Wolves, that is the pain point they're trying to target with their final ban in the form of Ashe. So now over to Mystic and Zero to lock in the final two picks for themselves. And this is not what I would necessarily classify as a Mystic pick, but it has been one that's been resurging again in the LPL, and it's alongside her lover, Rakan.
Yeah, and it's certainly been popping up a lot during the course of this tournament. Now, there are a couple of cool interactions. We'll cover them in game when it comes to Xayah and Rakan. But I feel like it's kind of the same identity as the Kog'Maw. You know, it's a low mobility, hyper-scaling AD carry, and so far Team WE, I said, what kind of iteration are we going to get out? And it's the two scaling compositions.
Oh, the crowd liked that one. Fiora coming in there for MMD into the top lane. Final pick will be Talia for Maple, staring down Shie in the mid lane on Corki.
And Flash Wolves' composition, now that we see it, I love it. It's got everything that you want. You have early game pressure from Karsa, you have huge mid game spikes from Talia and Kalista, and then the hyper scaling from Fiora. I feel like they have a great mix and balance to attack every portion of this game.
And now we're just waiting on that final pick from Team WE, and Jarvan was left open. There's no Renekton, so let's lock that one into the top lane there for 957. And 957 has been slowly ramping up. I didn't think much from him back in spring, but when you got to those playoffs, when you got to the finals, boy, did he turn on. Onto that Jarvan. We'll see if he can make it happen against MMD's Fiora.
And he's going to have to turn on. Again, back to the wall. The LPL is looking to their dominant team right now to lead them to victory. Jarvan is the signature LPL champion. Since the very beginning, 2013, he has been their go-to. It's just how they craft and split terrain with that ultimate. So we'll see if 957 carries the mantle of the other Chinese gods before him and is able to take this one.
That's the hope. And now we have the full rosters. We have the full compositions coming in here for us. So who are you preferring? Who would you put your money on?
Again, I think Flash Wolves nailed this draft. I feel like they have so many different power options at every point in this game. Team WE, the big thing for me is that they did get that Corki, but I don't have enough footage of Mystic on Xayah, and I don't have enough footage of Zero. Yeah, he came in at MSI. He did help Team WE take down SKT in a best-of-1, but I don't know if he's going to be at full capacity for this match.
There's just so many questions in for Team WE, whereas we look across at the Flash Wolves, and yes, yesterday did get blasted by SKT, but who doesn't nowadays? And he didn't get to play a lot of League of Legends, as Papa was saying, so hopefully in this one we get to see more of what they have. Again, over to Team WE, they have two phases. It's like, did we get Connie fed in the early game? If yes, let's go hard, let's go ham, or go home. Otherwise, they'll take it slow, go to around 35 minutes. We call them the Elder Dragon team. If they get there, then they'll come at you. They'll have this perfectly executed team fight, and then they'll take the game. So we'll have to see which form is going to hit us today.
Frankly, I feel like it's going to be the later path there because Condi is on a champion like Gragas. Not that Gragas can't make use of, early level 3 ganks, but that's typically not in his wheelhouse. He's there to be a facilitator for his lanes and for the rest of his 5v5 comp.
Well, there's a lot on the line for these two teams here for us, Kira. And Flash Wolves up against Team WE, LPL against the LMS. We'll see which team can take it home.
And it is do or die as these teams are fighting for superior seeding in the blind semi-final tomorrow. And already we've got a lot of action. It's not where you want to be. It's a bit of action.
I'll change the lot there to a little bit there from Betty as he jumps in there, gets a couple spears down onto Zero, backs off. And just checking some brushes, it's mostly going to be shallow vision here from both teams. Take a look at the keystones, mostly normal. We're back to the Warlords here, the Wonderlords I was going to call it. Well, feels like that.
Something that might be not super unusual, but the fact that Kalista did go for Warlords versus Fervor of Battle. Normally you see the Fervor of Battle just because Kalista will itemize lifesteal relatively early on in her build, likes to go through that Blade of the Ruin King path, and so she wants a bit more of that meaty all-in damage, especially when you have a Thresh and an Ignite. So we'll check on Betty's build. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty standard, but giving a lot of respect to Mystic and Zero.
We'd have to feel so, as the first dragon of the game will be Infernal, so maybe we get some early game skirmishes with that Kalista coming in here. Currently starting off in this Raptors, getting a lot of assistance from 957. We're going back to the top lane, but again, MMD is going to do the same on his side of the map here for Karsa. So both top laners will be meeting each other at relatively the same time.
And all eyes really need to be on Karsa. I like the fact that he is actually starting a buff, and I feel like looks like he's probably going to go for a full clear, but it's so important about this tempo advantage that junglers are getting, making sure that they get strong leashes, that they get off on the right foot, and they keep the experience lead. Because when it comes to contesting objectives like the Infernal or these 1v1 skirmishes, that slight EXP lead can mean all the difference.
I'm pretty much just waiting to see where the jungler's path from here on out, see if there's any XP quints as well. We saw some shenanigans earlier on today, Frost.
I think their pathing is indicative of that we're not going to see any shenanigans. Yeah, since he took the wolves instead of just going from Raptor, buff, scuttle, bot.
Yeah, exactly. Sordot's going to get some information here as well, as you will see Conley taking his blue. Maybe he'll be a bit annoying as well, get up in his grill.
Got Karsa in tow. They're looking to contest this.
It looks like it's almost resetting here as Zero's come up, Betty's come up. It's actually a party in the jungle here for Condi. He has to straight up back away. He's separated from his support. Karsa turns the corner. And this will just be Blue Wolf going over to the Flash Wolves.
Yep, Flash Wolves strike first. Big deal across from the Gragas. And again, that EXP advantage. Karsa now level 3 and Condi losing a lot of time as he has to re-navigate across the jungle to get back into the rhythm of things. A lot of this was opened up by the one guy who didn't show up for Flash Wolves, which is Maple. Making sure that he had that superior push as the Talia and creating space for Karsa.
Already, Flash Wolf starting on the right foot. Karsa is still sticking around the jungle area. It seems like he's placing down wards and actually taking the crab right now before he goes back to his own jungle. And overall, that's going to be triple buffs towards Karsa to start this one off. Connie at least did get his red buff, but has just slowed him down considerably. Taking a look at the bot lane as well. Zero and Mystic. Cool questions for those two players, since we haven't seen Zero just forever, honestly, since MSI just resurges for these international events, apparently.
Yeah, they pull out the big guns there in the sleepy Korean bot lane. They, of course, got the nickname because they used to be late to scrims all the time.
Yeah, but he's on time for this one, luckily. And Karsa, yeah, just getting to reap the rewards, pretty much, of his initial play with help from his bottom lane.
So I feel like what's going to be telegraphed early on in this game for Flash Wolves is, again, we talk about how their composition, they got the least jungle so they can make plays early. They have the Talia and the Kalista. They're going to spike really hard in the mid game. So it should be a slow-paced game until we start getting those ultimates. The Fates Call, the Talia wall, and then I feel like there's just a giant target that's drawn around this bot lane. Now, Condi, Mystic, Zero, everyone's aware of this. So it's about how they can time the package to try to protect that bottom lane.
As a hook lands in the bottom lane, but Zero is actually just going to swap it up, and he's all over the place actually right now as Mystic turns back towards the damage on Betty. That'll pretty much just be that trade in the bottom lane there, as farming will continue. I do share the sentiment you shared at the start of the game, Frosky. It will be a slower game, but when it gets to that point, the big question is just like WE or Flash Wolves, who has the better execution? And for the most part, domestically, WE, when they get to that late game, when they're allowed to get to that 35, 40-minute mark, they just have the perfect team fight, and no one can contend with them. Very messy region. A lot of teams just like to go for those fights, but against Flash Wolves, they are that quintessential team where they'll do a very similar game plan.
I mean, Faker paid Flash Wolves massive compliments after SKT absolutely throttled them yesterday, and that he felt that Flash Wolves, it felt like playing across from a Korean team, but as we say that, here comes Condi.
Yeah, engaging the bottom lane and Zero Mystic. I think Betty probably knows what's up right now as Condi turns the corner looking for this kill. He's getting chased down, hopping all over the place. Mystic very low, trying to get that kill, and it will be confirmed there by Swordard. Got a Caster minions chiming in as well as the 6th member. And Betty goes down, but it's ultimately 80 carries traded.
And we knew it was going to be about the bottom lane, but this time around, Team WE pulled the trigger first. That said, a little bit sloppy. You could see the Condi trying to rotate into the lane, so Mystic and Zero just pulling the trigger a couple of seconds too early and trading 1-for-1. Good thing, though, is that the kill went to the 80 carry for Team WE, while Swordart picked up the kill for Flash Wolves.
In the top lane, Grand Challenge has been issued there onto 957, but he simply walks away. Doesn't really want to take the Grand Challenge right now. Did have the item advantage, but regardless, in the bottom lane, Karsa pops out of the bush, gets the damage down onto Zero, but that's not going to be the damage right now. Luckily, Sword Art was in place with the Dark Passage. Had to interrupt his recall for that one, so he's feeling a little bit salty towards Karsa, but he will go probably back right now, though. Looks like he is staying.
And he is actually going to walk through a lot of vision. Condi is not leaving this bottom lane. The wave has been frozen by Flash Wolves, and so he's actually just trying to help his team break this or offer them some coverage while they break this.
Well, Betty going to get knocked up right here, and Connie is on his way. The rook comes down. Play call is huge. That's going to be a double kill to WE.
Here comes the teleport.
MMD wants something from this one, but yes, no ultimate, and the teleport will be cancelled there from 957. He's not Needle. Maybe is he? Karsa coming into the bottom lane. Maple in tow as well. Flash. Cocoon lands onto the Gragas. Mystic dropping low. Pops the Feather Storm. Should be home and safe. And somehow, WE evacuates safely and get the kill.
Oh, and Mystic only level 5, so I don't know, he just barely scrapes over the line there. We said that this was going to be about the bottom lane, but I expected it maybe another minute, 2 minutes. Both these teams know exactly where to strike.
Oh man, so MMD does go back to base, pick some items now, but he's lost so much farm now to 957. He's just been chilling top lane.
Yeah, and we also have a massive item difference between Betty and Mystic right now. So Mystic has the flat AD of the BF sword. He's going to feel really good in those all-in engagements, whereas Betty has just the sustain. So definitely wants to try to cheat in another early back to meet Zaya on even footing.
Yeah, we're going to see that one more time.
Yeah, I thought this was just going to be, Condi protecting his lane as they walk it in, but just the burst damage and the CC potential of Zaya, showcasing why she has been a contested pick this tournament.
And they wanted to try and get the pincer movement down. Fiora moves up and it's like, yeah, nah, maybe not. And Maple comes down. The flash and the cocoon looked good, but simply protection was too damn good from Zero and Condi. Couldn't quite get to the squishy Zaya, and ultimately that was just the one kill over to WE.
Yeah, and things will have to calm down a little bit. Now, there should be a package window opening up for Xie here. We'll see if he's able to abuse that before Maple gets his Talia wall back up and available. Though I think he's probably going to be timed out just even for them.
Yeah, you'd have to feel so. However, I would like to draw attention to the fact that Connie is 1-0-1. Also, that there is maybe a contest going on. He's backing away. But you have these two modes of WE. They go late game, or Connie just goes off and kills everybody. So there's a chance for that to happen in this game.
What kills me, though, is that Condi's doing it on a champion like Gragas. And yes, globally, the LPL has been given a lot of respect to the Gragas jungle. It's usually been cropping up as kind of a soft answer to Rek'Sai's engagement, not necessarily going toe-to-toe with the champion, but trying to interrupt or separate a lot of what she sets up for teams. But normally we expect Condi to lead the charge on things like the Lee Sin, like the Rengar.
The only reason I raised the point is because A, that's how WE play, and also B, he is going for the Runic Echoes, so he is trying to do more damage in this game, so...
I'm not ready to jump aboard the Team WE train.
Hey, look, I'm just announcing that the train's there, okay? You know, I'm not on it either, I'm just saying,
to
so
me,
you're aware.
I just feel like the LPL has hit me with the train this tournament.
Yeah, okay, I feel that one. There's Hook lands in the bottom lane, though. I don't think it's going to turn into anything right now. It's not an engage. Sword Art particularly wants to take at this point in time.
And we can't talk about how this 2v2 will really function here. So now that Betty and Sword Art, they have the level 6, there's the Featherstorm.
Featherstorm comes in very early. Kasa coming in from the top side. Teleports quite late from WE. They're already going to lose their Xayah. Zero now on the retreat. Xie, it's actually a double teleport as everyone's dogpiling into the bottom lane. In comes 957. The Flay comes back. Sword Art comes down as the dunk comes out from 957. So it is a 1-for-1 trade overall.
Yeah, and making use of that teleport discrepancy there to at least go even in that bottom trade. Karsa, of course, getting the first punch, so looks good still for Flash Wolves. But I was just about to explain how that will interact, the fact that they'll look for the Fates call, and it's just about how Mystic is going to use the Featherstorm to dodge that out. But when the Elise is there to follow up on the CC, kind of a moot point.
Yeah, definitely going to just kind of click all the buttons there and hope for the best. But you can see that one more time as the hook lands and the perfect engage. Following, that's actually the next engage.
Yeah, and the fact that Zero wasn't able to create a lot of space for Mystic there. They just hold up, wait, look for the second engage, like you said. Karsa on the top side. Lanterns him in, sets him up.
Yeah, pretty simple, honestly, and there's not a lot to say about it. It was a well-performed gank. Zero flashes away, has to burn the summoner, and then all of W is like, what did you say about my bottom laner? That's how we feel about it.
But you have to think, if you have an opportunity like that, give the kill over to the Corki, to Xie there. 957 is the one who walks away with it.
Yeah, in the end. Now, Xie does have the package. Doesn't have the teleport, did burn that on the bottom lane.
And this is the window that I was talking about earlier. You know, the Talia wall is available. We knew that CA was going to have the package soon. And would there be a moment where these two global positioners would line up? And it looks like Flash Wolves are just going to do a great job absorbing the timer on that.
Not only that, Caster's also trying to make something happen in the top lane. Notice that MMD is a good ways behind the Java, and also Cataclysm will be coming up shortly, so again, there's a small window for him to creep into.
Hide behind the creeps.
I think Caster's maybe just going to back away from this one. 957's playing way too far back, yeah.
He knew something was up.
So it's all good for now, and that has just culminated in the round. 1 to 2 waves advantage for 957. It's nothing to write home about, but is something nice for him to take to the bank.
And Team WE are feeling a bit more confident now, pushing in their vision line, suspecting again that Karsa was on the top side of the map, so feeling confident at least in the numbers advantage down here.
At the same time, if the Dragon fight does kick off, MMD has his teleport while 957 does not.
Which just means
all the vision has gone over to WE for us.
That Team WE either need to set this up perfectly, like you said, denying all the vision, making sure that they have every wave pushed down and can keep Flash Wolves locked out of this, or they wait.
Or they also just kill Karsa and they get their cake and they eat it too.
And that was given away by great vision again. This setup from Team W, making sure that they have the entire back of the Dragon Pit lit up. And this isn't something we normally get to compliment for the LPL teams.
Fantastic. But it's something that we often see from Team WE. I've got a
the
word
response
missed as Maple comes into the top lane. This is going to be, well, it needs to be well executed. 957 is quite tanky. He comes in with the Cataclysm. That has been riposted out as well, and that will be the kill. But he's locked in the Cataclysm. Managed to jump away with the final lunge. And Maple is there to hit the turret as well. So it was well executed. That being said, here comes Xie into the top lane.
Yeah, he's just here. I mean, if he picks up the kill on MMD, that'd be nice, but it's more so to dissuade the Flash Wolves from pushing for that tower. Meanwhile, bot.
Exactly. Hook goes wide, or actually goes through the goalpost. So in the end, WE will just back away, return some Pokeball back to relative normality. Though I feel like we've lied to the audience just a little bit. You know, it's not what was on the tin as we came into this one, because it's 8 kills right now and it's 13 minutes into the game.
I mean, these are my favorite type of games, so I would love to see this one pedal to the metal continue to be this fast-paced. You know, every single opening, every single ultimate that is available to both teams, they're immediately trying to set up plays around it.
As turns out, most of those plays turn into kills as well, as Zero turns the corner, takes away the blast cone, and Caster's also there as well. So He's looking to recall as blue buff is spawned, and you know that Cos is probably going to contest that as he has the last two. Hondi, where is he at right now? He's on top side, Pro's going back to base. But simply right now, Flash Wolves have been so starved of vision in that river. Very hard for them to head towards that blue buff safely if they want that invade. So I think we're just going to go back to laning for maybe a few minutes.
And this is a very, patient point of the game. Everyone's really in between their big items. It looks like Team WE feel confident to look for that delayed lane swap towards the top side, trying to catch Flash Wolves out of position. You can already see that Betty and Sword Art have responded to the bottom side. So this will turn into a tower race. It's now, will Team WE also get the kill?
They're investing a lot of resources up there. MMD, well, if they could get this kill, it would make it a lot easier for WE. The charm, the quickness, the W, the combo from Zero. Though it doesn't actually turn into the kill because Carter coming around the sidelines. A perfect cocoon down onto Mystic. And 957, he's gone very, very deep. And Maple's here to return with this. One Cataclysm comes down, buys a bit of distance. Repel comes up, goes back down. Connie over the wall, in with the flash, very aggressive once more. But with the cask on top of that, that will be a kill confirmed there for Xie.
And it's just a difference about how they commit these resources. Everyone from Team WE piles in on the top lane. That said, bottom side, it will be first brick over to Betty and Sword Art. So not a total loss for Flash Wolves.
Flash Wolves getting the first tower is good for them. Of course, it will be a trade overall for WE, and they are waiting in the bush just in case someone happens to go by. But in the end, it will be this tower.
Flash Wolves are feeling actually confident to approach this one safely. They've got Maple in the back pocket, and they are going to force Team WE off of this.
Wow, lack of minions means that Flash Wolves just get the even better trade, a complete net win for them. Only losing that one kill. Tower in the bottom side. First tower at that. I don't even lose top. Maybe WE get this on the next push, but they're sending a lot of resources back home.
And this looks like almost the wrong turn from MMD, but he expertly just sidesteps, get out of this, and Team WE, they kind of overreach. Yes, eventually Condi will get involved on the back half of it and pick up a kill. I believe it lands in Corky's pocket, so not terrible for Team WE, but could have been played a lot cleaner here.
At the same time, Mystic spent like a good half of that fight stunned. Gets stunned by the riposte, turns a corner, eats a cocoon. It's like, well, this is fun. I don't get to participate.
Catch.
Completely destroyed. And that's that one kill over to Xie, but again, it's that bottom side. The tower goes down, so Flash Wolves net game over towards them. That being said, WE still the advantage in terms of gold, though they are going for Rift Herald. Have been interrupted.
This is why I like Team WE trying to reach for the Rift Herald, because what does it mean to have the Callista unlocked? Naturally, you have so much more engage potential because you're unlocking something like the Fate's Call versus the Feather Dance, but it gives Flash Wolves the immediate advantage over something like the Rift Herald. Callista's ability to secure those objectives, which is why you see Team WE like, okay, Callista's on the map, they can definitely take this easy, let's throw everything at the kitchen sink just to deny this.
Also would allow them to catch up on tempo just a little bit. Maybe they can crack the mid tower, a bigger prize than the bottom one or the top one for sure.
It's trying to abuse that power spike and that power window of the package. Here we go.
Clear ultimate coming in. It's going to be the full-blown fight as Zero comes in for the initiation, but down goes Xie immediately. Condi and Mystic doing their best in the backside, but Benny, this is the skirmish he was living for. Jumps over the wall, but that's the blast cone. Jumps away from that one, but Condi moving into the top side. He's out of mana, he's been hooked, and that is a death sentence for the Gragas.
But this is the confidence of Betty that I was talking about. You know, when you think of the Flash Wolves, everyone's going to talk about Karsa, everyone's going to talk about Maple, but no one is giving their new AD carry, it's hard to call him new at this point, the respect that he deserves. And it's that confidence on Klisha, going over the wall, knowing that he has the kill, and leading the charge.
He's always at the back of the people's minds, but he's coming to the forefront now as we look for another engage in the mid lane, and you can always rely on Sword Art to line up the shot.
And from bad to worse for Team WE, they tried to overreach, they tried to stall out the game, change the tempo, take the Rift Herald. They got the Rift Herald, but they lose the entire map in return.
Flash Wolves pushing the top side. The only side that is currently left open is the bottom, as 957 is pushing that in. So hopefully, maybe he can get some damage. I doubt he's going to pick up the full tower itself. So let's go back to the very start of that craziness.
And again, all eyes for me are really on Betty, but it is Betty, but it is a very nice intro from Flash Wolves. Great box also and setup from Sword Art. That's what we expect from him. But immediately, the Fate's Call into the background forces Mystic to use his ultimate defensively. Mystic does make his great escape on the blast cone, but Betty just turns around. It's like, okay, this will do.
We'll take this kill instead. And they go back to base, quite happy with that one. So in the end, WE do manage to pick up the Rift Herald, so it's not a complete loss for WE, but that did swing the goal totals. from before. WE had a very firm advantage, has gone over to Flash Wolves with yet another tower. Bot lane did indeed not go over to 957.
And the only saving grace for Team WE at this point is that this is where Flash Wolves were going to be able to sucker punch them in terms of where these compositions line up. We knew that Flash Wolves were going to be strong in the mid game, so now there's this big open window where Flash Wolves can continue to build up on this lead, to use the power that they have, and to look for the kill shot across from Team WE. As it goes later, as they start to ramp up, the ball can go back into their court when they have the late game scaling of Corki, when they have the Xayah online.
Well,
that was
can't
a good
be
try.
displaced. Yeah, unfortunately, Harold, he'll go through that one. Doesn't really care too much. Oh, sort of. Actually, you stopped that one. So Tao still alive.
Golf clap. Excellently done.
Good stuff. Zero just moving through the river, and it's again looking for this dragon. Hopefully Midtown doesn't go down, but she is rotated. 957's there as well, so we're all safe on the mid lane front. This should be another dragon going over Team WE now. 957 spots on this ward.
And this dragon is really opened up by using the Rift Herald. It pulled Flash Wolves' resources to the mid lane, and it does give them inside track. So Team WE just trying to scrape away breadcrumbs where they can. Although I think that they're going to be punished by having Mystic bottom, so maybe overreaching or spreading themselves too thin.
We'll see. Xie, it's pretty much his job to get this middle tower.
But you never want to trade inner for bottom outer, which is why Mystic's continuing to push.
Here comes the collapse. It's going to be harder to dive this one as he dodges all of the CC, comes down to Cataclysm, and the repel up, down, and gets out over to the left.
And what was looking so clean from Flash Wolves is now on the other foot. I think they saw that Team W were on the dragon. They couldn't quite decide, are we going for the mid lane, are we going for the top lane? And because they don't all commit as one team, they leave the two structures standing but just chipped away.
And with that, WE again take the gold advantage, so very back and forth in this game. This early game and mid game has been action-packed. Mystic was carrying on pushing the bottom lane, took it down to around half. Will now go back to base. I'm sure he's got a lot of gold to spend.
I can't quite tell if we're playing chess or playing checkers.
Maybe both at the same time.
Kind of feels like Battleship.
Yeah, maybe chess boxing. Maybe more along the lines of what these teams are doing.
I think we're going to get closer to boxing now that the Baron is live. Of course, both these teams have maximum Barret threat. You have Kalista on one side, you have Blade of the Rune King, as well as double 80 carry on the other side. So the vision has been strong so far from both sides. I'd say a little bit stronger for Team WE. We'll see if it keeps up now that this big purple worm is available.
I think now is a good time to revisit the 0 point. Like, he has had a pretty good game so far, has set up everything for his team. Also hasn't even died yet. 100% kill participation as support when there's been this much action is pretty impressive.
And you know, when Team WE made the changeover to Bin, who unfortunately couldn't be at the event, a lot of us were questioning why. Zero was playing phenomenally well. The team did cite publicly that it was motivation issues. We know that he still works rather intimately with them behind the scenes, so it's not like Zero has just gone away.
Well, that's the caster's curse right there. Not more to say about that one.
He definitely went away there.
Yeah, our bad. Sorry, Zero. We'll take that one.
Okay, so Sword Art.
Great player. Fantastic hook so far. Stop the Rift Herald mid lane. May have heard him before.
I don't think it's going to work, Pulse.
No. Oh well, we'll say it again later and see if it rings true. But 21 minutes in now. Mystic just angering the Baron, seeing if anyone's around, but has been control warded from Flash Wolves. People heading up here as well. And right now, it's all about that Baron vision. And funnily enough, having the support go down for WE is probably the worst member at this point in time. Like, they need the person with wards to be warding the area.
And it's also really easy for Rakan to check a dark area like this just because of how mobile he is. You can see that Kondi's, trying to peek in, using his Q, using his innate tankiness as Gragas, but giving a lot of respect and a very wide berth to Flash Wolves.
All right, let's go, Kondi. Just wandering around right now, trying to get this shallow vision. If nothing else, they can get vision on their side of the jungle to at least try and contest Flash Wolves. But they are setting this one up, and this is more of what we expected from WE and Flash Wolves around these Baron dances, these prolonged areas of the game is where we expect the most stellar play to come out from these two teams compared to a lot of the other teams in this tournament.
Which means back timers at this point in the game are just so important, and it's pretty much demonstrated here. So Team WE, it took them so long, so much courage to move back into this area to try to place down vision. It allowed Flash Wolves this massive window. They got their back timers. They've refreshed their vision. They've also got inside track on mid, and now Zero.
Oh, well, that's just unlucky. Jumps away from that one, goes back towards Xie, and is alive for this one. But Sword Art is just relentless. He does not stop landing hooks in this game.
Yeah. It's almost like disrespect giving him the Thresh. I can't think of a player that I would least likely want on Thresh.
Oh, we're kicking off another fight. Again, the Death Sentence lands onto Kondi, forces the flash out, but he jumps back in with the cask. Zero jumps over the wall. Not sure if that's where he wanted to be. 957 comes in for yet another engage. Feels like WE just reading from the wrong hymn sheet. They all back away together, but that was such a disjointed engage.
And a 4v5 at that. 957 trading a lot of his health bar for very little reason or very little follow-up. And you can see MMD, he was kind of creeping over, looking for the flank, but now Fiora continuing to assault the bottom tower, and Flash Wolves again complete control over the Baron area.
Burn the TP, but now MMD can rotate with relative ease. You can see the bottom side lit up like a Christmas tree. He can go wherever he wants. 957 essentially just locked into that bottom lane now to go with the duel against MMD. It's
a very easy but very patient game for Flash Wolves. They did force the teleport out of 957. Yeah, they don't have it on MMD, but they will have it back up before 957 has his. So again, window's been created for Flash Wolves about where they need to strike. They just need to follow the blueprint now.
Rare execution mistakes from WE so far in this game, whereas Flash Wolves have made a lot of good plays. We didn't get to see a lot of it against SKT, but we're seeing more of it now against WE. It seems like for now they are starting to outclass WE, if ever so slightly. And
that's the scary thing. You know, Team WE are really struggling across from Flash Wolves as Condi now caught.
Yeah, so it takes a lot of damage. It's going to be the final rounds and takes them down to half, just barely.
Whereas SKT just rolled Flash Wolves over. And you have to think, if this comes down to a Korean team trying to assist either the LPL or the LMS into that second seed for tomorrow's best of 5, it's KT for Flash Wolves.
Yep.
Or excuse me, for AHQ, and SKT for Team WE.
Definitely scary for LPL fans at this point in time. Like, Flash Wolves, I mean, this game just means so much for both regions. Heading into tomorrow, having preferential seeding, games 1, 3, and 5 will give you side selection for you.
I do have some good news, Pulse.
What's that?
Xie has finished his Zeal, Infinity Edge, and Trinity Force. So the Corki is definitely going to start packing a punch. And at this point, it just gets worse. Again, my big thing about Corki is he just spikes on pretty much every single item. Ridiculous mid-game spikes, ridiculous late-game scaling. And because of the changes to his damage percentage, it's actually quite hard to find an item that covers both armor and magic resistance. In fact, I feel like the only one in the game left is Gargoyle Stoneplate. Maybe Rot Portal, I'd have to double check.
Ah yes, building Rot Portal against Corki doesn't necessarily feel good though, if that's your item choice.
Gargoyles is in a much better place.
Yeah.
We've been seeing a lot of that one. But I feel like the changes to GA, you know, moving away from the armor and the MR to the BF sword was also kind of a smaller factor in really bringing him back into the meta and making him shine.
Alright, taking up this red buff here for WE, getting the small victories where they can. And again, this is essentially, while we've been all over the map, still a prolonged Baron dance which has been happening. Both two teams have been trying to get the vision around the area, see if they can get the picks where they can, pushing that mid tower. And that's ultimately what Flash Wolves are able to do, so that has given them more breathing room around the Baron area.
But we said the window that Flash Wolves and the blueprint that they needed to follow was the TP advantage. So now it is back up, MMD has teleport, 957 does not, which is why Team W are like, okay, we got to lock it down. We're going to kick Corki down to the bottom lane. He's going to be the most mobile target. And we're really relying on Jarvan at this point to help us with our 5v5. And I feel like it might be that Xie is the only confident member to stand across from MMD's Fiora at this point.
Pretty much has to be, if you think about it.
But Flash Wolves, they just need to be patient. Draw out this double teleport and use the pressure around the map to secure this Baron objective.
I'm getting nervous when I see Sword Art around all these stray WE members. Though for now, most of them are being protected. 957 walking up, taking away some of these wards, or doesn't feel confident enough to, because again, WE, or rather Flash Wolves mobilize. You've got MMD pushing in the bottom side. She has to be there, since top lane doesn't have TP at this point in time.
And this is actually just a bad back from Team WE. You understand why they need to do it. They need to refresh their ability to place wards, picking up all of those control wards. But Mystic can't be anywhere by himself. Sora is just too threatening on this Thresh, and Flash Wolves have all of the pushes. They get a free tower.
And tower goes down, and Flash Wolves, it's just better positioning, better macro we're seeing out from them. WE, this is essentially not what we expect to see from them, especially when they had a pretty strong early game courtesy of Condi. And now they've slowed down significantly. We were just like, okay, great, this is what WE like to do, but they are being run around the map by Flash Wolves.
And frankly, in the LPL, Team WE have never really been challenged in the mid-game. You know, we looked at their style when they decide to play these hyper-scaling composition, and it's like, why doesn't someone just hit them super hard in the early game or super hard in the mid-game? And even though that seems like it would be the LPL's dream come true for how skirmish, how 5v5 heavy they were never able to land that killing blow. Whereas the Flash Wolves have had no problem doing it.
Yeah, most of the LPL teams just get confused against WWE. It's like, what are we meant to do? How do we win this game?
Why won't you fight us?
Yeah, you play so weird. But when you put them on the international stage against Flash Wolves, I'm sure this is just home turf for them. I mean, indeed it is. Playing in front of this crowd who's cheering at every single kill they accumulate. And WE put out of their comfort zone. And honestly, I can't put it on Zero. Like before we saw Audi in the top lane, it's like, man, a lot of nerves for them. Zero, he's been to international events before. He's doing very well in this game. It's just something to do with the whole team dynamic that's just not coming together in this game.
This has for sure been a 5v5 where everyone has been participating in how both these leads have been accumulated. But again, the ebb and flow as we're trading our back timers. Vision control for Team WE, vision control for Flash Wolves. The big thing, though, is taking control over this top side of the map. So finally, Maple is up there, and I just wish that someone, either Team WE or Flash Wolves, would just push that as hard as they can.
So if we go later and later into this game, well, I'm going to hold that thought because 957 just jumped onto MMD. He flashes away, so summoner advantage. The longer we get into this game... Okay, I'm just not going to be able to talk, am I? Connie getting chased out here by Sword Art and Betty. He goes back into his jungle, mostly just poking right now.
I have a feeling I get your question, and it's about what composition wins at the 55-minute mark.
Pretty much.
And frankly, yes, there is hyperscaling between Xayah and Corki, but Flash Wolves comp do have the answers to deny those picks. But here we go.
We're just going in for the engage. Zero comes in, lands the charm onto the front line, but everyone from WE getting annihilated right now. Zero has to back away. Connie dropping low as well. 957 into this one first. He'll match MMD on the backside, but they are getting pinted. Here comes the wall. We need to evacuate on this one. MMD certainly takes a lot of damage. 957 on that front line, but he needs someone to back him up. No one's died yet. Mystic on the front line. Shea backing it off, and Condi comes in around the side, and no one dies.
Oh, that is on a knife's edge right there. And you know that a single team fight like that will decide the game because either team will just rotate immediately into the Baron. But both teleports have been used. Team WE still have their TP on the Corki. But with Maple having his wall up in no time, they can match that pressure in a side lane.
Oh man, the damage juggle off was real there in that team fight. Everyone jumping in. How much extra damage can I go off? Can I kill this guy? But ultimately, they were so evenly matched. And to go back to that previous point on like team comps later into the game, I mean, right now, it's just so even.
I mean, the scary thing, though, is that you do have, you know, 2 immobile 80 carries, but we are going to take a replay look at that team fight. Just ridiculous damage coming out of both sides. I believe the flash was burned from Betty, so they do have that to work with. Good job from Zero, but ultimately no one could get into the back lines. Both teams setting their line of scrimmage beautifully.
Mystic tries his best, though, and that Blade Coil was disgusting. Lands onto 3 players. MMD started to lose the trade as well, 1v1 against the Jarvan. And for a moment, Mystic's the only high health member on WE, and it's like, okay, this is Mystic's time. He's going to go off, but zoned away by Maple, kept him in his place, and ultimately, just no kills.
Also a great wall from Maple to make sure that that, you know, 3-man root caller wasn't able to be followed up. Condi locked out of the fight entirely.
Yeah, that could have been the straight-up wipe, but Flash Wolves have pulled the trigger on Baron right here. Zero's the only one around. It's going down fast.
And you know that since Kalista is on it, there's no chance of a smite steal. You actively just have to kill them and force them off the objective.
Especially when he's had so much time for this Baron, and the smite coming down early. You know it's going to be a massive rank coming out here, and it's just a shot in the dark. It's not going to happen for WE. Flash Wolves take the Baron.
And that is the 2-for-1 special because they also got the tower in the bot lane. Again, there's no teleport on either top laner, so Flash Wolves, knowing that there wasn't going to be a 5v5, just look for the 2-man and use the Talia wall expertly.
Well, stopping MMD from the teleport there. Jarvan was coming down. Even the redemption was used pretty much to stop MMD, so maybe we can get a return kill here before Flash Wolves can mobilize. That being said, Sword Art's coming in. The getaway driver, can it happen? Oh, gets it off. The dark passage is huge from Sword Art.
And again, the crowd behind Flash Wolves. Home turf advantage. Everything is in their control. In the driver's seat. Another tower following the top lane.
Getting 5 stars on that Uber ride for certain. Well played for Sword Art, and he's just always in the right place at the right time.
You know, I called it earlier on in the tournament that this was kind of the $1 million friendship because Maple and Karsa, they are so often sought over. Teams have fought over trying to get these guys out of the LMS and into other regions onto other teams, but they refuse. It's not just that they won't go together, but they demand that they be with Sword Art, that friendship stays strong.
A lot of players will say, sounds kind of cheesy, but I mean, when you see it on the world stage, when people are playing internationally and it's doing things like this, you can no longer say it's cheesy.
If you've ever seen Flash Wolves live, you can hear them over the roar of the crowd. They are one of the loudest teams that I have ever experienced. They are very emotional, very momentum-driven, and it truly is the power of friendship that have kept them at the top for so long.
And ultimately, that will mean more in the long run. It's what keeps teams together, and even in practice, in scrims and solo queue, these players will be together, and building that synergy is just the X factor some other teams can't really accomplish. Right now, that has accumulated into around a 5,000 gold lead, 4-tower advantage.
This is very intelligent, though. So they're trying to catch Team WE rotating up into the top lane to contest Betty's push, but Team WE just smartly saying, probably a trap. We're going to let this one go, because if they're caught there, that would be the game.
Nice lunge there from MMD. Allows him to go back in, but Xie has arrived. In comes the Cataclysm. That would be a very easy kill there for Xie. Top lane now being sieged in. Good wall out from Maple, and the tower will be sieged. Nothing that WE can do. They simply can't cross the line. And
Flash Wolves are totally fine to trade MMD's life for the structure there. He didn't have the Uber ride that time around, but like I said, still fine.
Yeah, he can't be everywhere. And of course, the top lane was the big objective, and it was a win-win scenario for Flash Wolves regardless. Either they have pressure in 2 lanes, or they still take and break the top tower. So now WE don't really have that inhibitor line complete anymore, but they do still venture outside of the base, not just going to hunker down.
And the only thing that Team WE have really accomplished this game is taking these dragons. So Flash Wolves, they don't break an inhib. Did Betty mean to do that?
I don't know.
Oh, he's farming Krugs, yeah.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, going to allow that one to go over to WE. Ultimately, it is just an Ocean Dragon. It's nice, but it's not something that's going to break the camel's back.
But it does open the potential to end this game over an Elder. That said, Baron will be spawning before that. So I feel like Team WE, their only win condition at this point is to look towards that one-game fight, where when WE want to roll the dice, they do like to take this gamble. They do like to assume that they are just better 5v5 team. But so far, they haven't been able to prove that. Yes, Flash Wolves have gotten these incremental advantages off of skirmishes more so than a true 5v5, but they have stood toe-to-toe from Team WE. Think about that big mid-game team fight. WE weren't able to crack them open. They disengaged appropriately.
If we go along at the same pace for us, it just honestly feels like Flash Wolves is going to slowly batter down WE until there's nothing left, and they'll take this game. And Mystic is just randomly in the top side. MMD is going to chase him down, but here comes the TP. The trap was trying to be closed in around him, but there was almost no chance of it ever happening. And also they give up so much pressure bot.
He's definitely still in trouble. Mystic finally being punished for trying to farm.
And this is just going to be it. Feather Storm comes in, and the flash comes out from MMD. They really want this kill. He's trying to turn it around. The flash out of the way as well. Grand challenge issued. But Maple, yes, he was close to dying. It's still just a pick onto Mystic. Everyone else engaging on the bottom side. No 2P was tough. This is the one chance for W to try and find this fight. Teleport coming in. They're on a timer, but that is one kill. Zero comes in, gets the taunt up. We're looking at top lane. We're looking at bot lane as Mystic comes in. Falls up with the Xie as well. Just get the kill. And 957 falls. It's the triple kill to Betty.
And MMD came in on the backside with the teleport. Didn't have his ultimate, but it didn't matter. Again, Betty is the guy to look for on this Kalista. Time and time again, when he's given the pick, he picks it up. Flash Wolves looking to take another inhib turret.
This one will go down. 36 minutes on the clock, and Condi, there's nothing he can do about this one. He has to go back to base. Top lane being shoved in by Maple, who wasn't even in that fight. That was one for the Flash Wolves. And Condi, maybe he can stop them at the Nexus turrets, but they may just lose triple inhibs here. I'm waiting.
We got
we got it. It's all good. Condi has to try and push them back here, but he hasn't defended the other ones. He's got the rest of the team now coming. Mystic and Zero have respawned from base, but it's actually just going to be the triple inhibs.
And the LPL have now been forced into their Nexus turrets. They have been dismantled this tournament as the Flash Wolves, a clear-cut victory ahead of them. Baron spawning in 130. No inhibs. Super creeps flooding into Team WE's base. It doesn't get easier than this.
We're going to take another look at that last team fight as well. It looked good. I mean, WE had to pull the trigger somewhere, and now it's a chance.
Yeah, but all eyes again on Betty. His ability to disengage to avoid all of the relevant CDs and then turn around, use the power of Kalista to kite through. And of course, Sarda, a really nice hook right there. MMD shows up just in time to add a little bit of extra firepower. But again, it's locking up that Corki and then popping him like a balloon.
And Betty is just free-fighting through the entire fight. Like, no one could really touch him. And he's literally standing right next to and in melee range of those big carriers. And he just doesn't care. Took them all out. Triple kill to Betty. And with those triple inhibs down, I struggle to see what WE can do from here on out. We're 37 minutes, and usually in a WE game we'll be saying, man, they've just turned on, we're looking for that big team fight. Seems like they've lost too much.
And again, it's the fact that Flash Wolves never gave them that big team fight. That's where the LPL and that's where Team WE like to thrive. It's in those 5v5s, but they haven't gotten one. The closest they got, no one died. Everyone disengaged. It's been these smaller skirmishes, these 4v5s. Flash Wolves have actually just pulled Team WE apart around the map, built on a lot of their superior vision.
11-8 now, and Flash Wolves, they see that second seed for the region on the horizon now, and they're ready to cement it for the LMS. LPL, can they pull it back? It's definitely in WE's hands, as they will be going up against SKT later. It's not an easy strength of schedule. But that's what you get for being #1 seed. This is kind of your fault, WE.
Now, naturally, if the LPL fall down here, it's not game over for them. We still have the semifinals tomorrow, but they would be playing at a disadvantage in terms of side selection.
Not really what you want at all when sides do mean an awful lot in this current meta. Sword Art is zoning everybody away along with MMD. In fact, this is just going to be a two-man from Carter and Betty. Just don't really take too much damage. And Betty has that massive rend as well.
And again, it's just been the respect from Flash Wolves. At this point, they have Team WE in the sleeper hold, and they've just slowly been lowering them to the floor, making sure that they're covering all of their bases, but not giving Team WE a miracle opening, and just very clean, methodical close out of this game.
Massive praise to all of LMS, though. The teams have really shone today. The crowd just behind them as well. The momentum that they've had has been absolutely stunning and crazy to see. WE definitely just crumbling underneath that pressure as well. It's a rare sight to see as we see this fight start off. I mean, they had to make something happen with Zero. Actually just disappears, and down goes she as well. 957 getting chased out, and MMD running wild in the back lines. Places down a riposte. Down goes MMD, and that is good for them, but everyone else explodes from WE. Connie walks back to the spawn pad. All he can do is save his KDA. Both Nexus turrets go down. Nexus set to fall, and Flash Wolves will take the win.
And J-Team set the LMS up, and Flash Wolves spike it down. They have taken their revenge across from Team WE, and they've taken their revenge on the LPL.